Okay, I think मैंने start कर दिया. I've started the live. I'll just check on my YouTube feed whether it's showing or not. Yes, it has started. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to Wicket Whispers. I have with me Rhythm and Rohith, and we'll be discussing the players who are not sold in the recent IPL in the mega auctions. And there are a few heavy names in that list. And first of all, I would like to introduce Rohith. He has his own channel, Hindi and English. I have added the link of both the links in the YouTube description, both the channels, English and Tamil. And now we are going to start. So we'll start off by the names of the player. I'll ask you both guys regarding whether this was the right call by the IPL franchises or not. And the first name I want to start with is obviously David Warner. What's your take on David Warner? Because obviously, from fan point of view, people are people were expecting him to go at least on base price, at least to any team that was searching for openers. But my personal call was because he was not regular, even in the franchise cricket. I think that was the decision why IPL franchises didn't went for him. Rather than they went for Fab Duplessis, but they didn't go for David Warner. What's your take? We'll start with Rhythm. Rhythm, क्या लगता है यार? डेविड वार्नर के पीछे नहीं गए, बट फाफ ड्यूप्लेसिस को लिया है. क्या लगता है, क्या रीजन लगता है?
ऋतिक, डेविड वार्नर के पीछे यार मेरे को लगता है कि लास्ट कुछ सालों में इतना नहीं खेला है टी20 क्रिकेट और नेशनल टीम में भी नहीं है, लेकिन मेरे को ऐसा लगता है अभी भी यार बेस प्राइस के ऊपर अगर आपको कोई इतना एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर मिल रहा है जो लगभग 10-15 साल से आईपीएल खेल रहे हैं और सिंगल हैंडेडली उसने इतने मैच जिताए हैं और एसआरएच के लिए एक पूरा सीजन उन्होंने जिता रहा है, तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है, मैं पर्सनली ये चाहता था कोई भी फ्रेंचाइजी होती लेकिन वो डेविड वार्नर के पीछे बेस प्राइस पे जरूर जाती, क्योंकि यार 2 करोड़ रुपए में आपको इतना एक्सपीरियंस्ड और इतने ज्यादा टी20 खेलने वाला एक प्लेयर मिल रहा है जो ऑजी टीम में एक टाइम पे रेगुलर ओपनर था। और आपको एक बेनिफिट वो देता है कि इंडिया में इतने लेफ्ट हैंडेड ओपनर्स नहीं है, तो आपको एक लेफ्ट हैंड और राइट हैंड कॉम्बिनेशन भी मिलता है ओपनिंग में। तो मेरे को लगता है कि डेविड वार्नर को बेस प्राइस में ऋतिक लिया जा सकता था।
रोहित, व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दिस अबाउट डेविड
Uh,
वार्नर?
तो मेरे हिसाब से आई थिंक कि अग्रीइंग विद रिदम्स पॉइंट, इट इज दैट कि अगर आपको बेस प्राइस में ऐसा एक प्लेयर मिल रहा है, क्योंकि ऑक्शन के एट द एंड ऑफ द ऑक्शन आपको ये बात मालूम है कि जब आप टीम्स को देखते हो एक बार, आपको ये समझ में आता है कि पंजाब किंग्स में और दूसरी ओर पे लखनऊ सुपर जायंट्स पे उनको एक रिलायबल ओपनर नहीं है जो कि आप 14 गेम्स खेल सकते हो। मेरे हिसाब से तो अगर आप लखनऊ सुपर जायंट्स को एक बार देखिए तो मेरे हिसाब से लगता है कि आप मिचेल मार्श को ओपन कर सकते हो। उनके साथ आप ऋषभ पंत को ओपन ओपन करने का जो स्थिति में आप है इसी टाइम पे, या तो एडन मार्करम को खेलना पड़ेगा। तो उस हिसाब से अगर आप वार्नर को बेस प्राइस पे अगर खरीद लेते हैं तो बहुत एक आसान एडिशन होगा। एंड एट द अदर एंड आप देखें पंजाब किंग्स में यू हैव टू ओपन विद प्रभसिमरन सिंह एंड उसके अलावा आपको मार्कस स्टोइनिस को ऊपर खेलना पड़ेगा। आई थिंक दैट इज ऑल्सो अ वेरी गुड थिंग दैट यू कैन look at. So with both the teams having Australian coaches, right? So in that sense, I think we have definitely seen we have definitely expected Ricky Ponting at one end, Justin Langer at the other end. You would want to play with an Australian opener, or rather, he could have preferred an Australian opener because you see the middle order. It's with Marcus Stoinis, Glenn Maxwell. You have all those options, right? So in that sense, I definitely expected at least either of these teams to go ahead and purchase David Warner. But yes, to be very honest, even a backup player like David Warner would have been really useful.
Okay, understood. I think this was probably the most talked player, David Warner, because he's someone who will be counted as IPL legends all time. If someone will make the 11, probably this guy will always be there. The next name that comes to my mind is Johnny Bairstow. He had a decent IPL last year. If we see, he got a century against KKR while chasing 260. But according to that team, for Punjab, he was probably the best suited player. But I think after that, he didn't have that consistency. More importantly, and also his recent past with England was not that great. He's dropped from the T20 I set up as well. What's your take on Johnny Bairstow as well, Rohit? I'm starting with you.
So in my opinion, Johnny Bairstow, I think, was a perfect set for one of Mumbai Indians or Kolkata Knight Riders, right? So both of these teams, I think, could have gone for Johnny Bairstow because for a fact that they are talking about Mumbai Indians firstly, right? So they have relied a lot on Ryan Rickelton and they've purchased Ryan Rickelton. And what has happened now is that they have to play Robin Mills if they have to, have that wicket keeping option. And now they are forced to play Will Jacks as well. They've purchased Will Jacks. So
Yeah.
who doesn't give you that wicket keeping dimension. So if in case you say that, Robin Mins doesn't really have a great start to the tournament, right? So you have to, jump back to, let's say you have to play Ryan Rickelton at the top. There are rumors or reports stating that, they will finish with Will Jacks as well. That could be an option they will look at. And but I think solid. It was a solid option for Mumbai Indians to go with Johnny Bairstow, because I think he's going to fire you 4 out of 14 games, because we have seen that in the previous season as well. We saw Punjab Kings. He didn't have the greatest of seasons, but you saw that game at Eden Gardens, if I'm not wrong, they had chased 262. So in that
Yes.
game, he had got that big 100 and finished the game off. So in that sense, he was definitely a backup, because we are speaking about 4 teams nearly who where Johnny Barrister would have been a perfect fit. So in that regard, I think LSG, Punjab, KKR, Mumbai Indians, KKR, Mumbai Indians have a reliable opener, but I think experience-wise, Johnny Barrister would have been way better.
ओके रिदिम, तेरे को क्या लगता है जॉनी बेस्टो का पीछे क्या रीजन है? क्योंकि पर्सनली देयर वाज वन रीजन इन माय माइंड, बिकॉज इन रीसेंट पास्ट वी हैवंट सीन हिम being very attacking against spin. I think that could be again a reason why he was not the first choice. रिदिम, तेरे को क्या लगता है जॉनी बेस्टो को क्यों नहीं लिया गया? क्योंकि एक समय पे एसआरएच के लिए उन्होंने भी बहुत अच्छी बैटिंग करी है, लास्ट ईयर एक 100 भी आया, बट रिसेंट फॉर्म का बड़ा रीजन है, या फिर ओवरऑल तेरे को लग रहा है कि वो प्लेयर से मूव ऑन कर गई है टीम सारी?
ऋतिक, जॉनी बेस्टो शायद, मेरे को डाउट है, क्या T20 क्रिकेट से रिटायर हो चुके हैं क्या इंटरनेशनली, या अभी नहीं हुए?
नहीं नहीं, ही इज प्लेइंग।
तो करंट इंग्लैंड के लिए खेलते हैं क्या वो?
हाँ खेलते हैं, बट अभी इस समय ही इज नॉट इन द टीम, अभी वो टीम में नहीं थे।
तो यार जॉनी बेस्टो के पीछे तो यार मेरे हिसाब से तो टीम्स को जाना चाहिए था, क्योंकि अभी मेरे को रोहित ने एक बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट उठाया कि अभी मेरे को पर्सनली ऐसा लग रहा है कि मुंबई इंडियंस को एक अच्छे कीपर की बहुत जरूरत है, इंटरनेशनल
हाँ।
विकेट कीपर जिसका एक्सपीरियंस हो। तो अभी मुंबई इंडियंस के पास पहले ईशान किशन थे, तो वो प्रॉपर विकेट कीपर थे। अब उनके
यस।
पास एक विकेट कीपर की शॉर्टेज है, इंटरनेशनल विकेट कीपर की। तो यार जॉनी बेस्टो
हाँ।
मुंबई इंडियंस के लिए सबसे परफेक्ट सूट करते थे, लेकिन उन्होंने विल जैक्स ले लिया ऑप्शन में, तो उनका पर्स भी उससे इफेक्ट हो गया। और जॉनी बेस्टो और विल जैक्स में एज अ बैट्समैन जो अभी करंट फॉर्म है, मैं विल जैक्स के संग जाऊंगा। लेकिन जो टू डायमेंशनल जो फर्क आ रहा है जॉनी बेस्टो की कीपिंग और बैटिंग का, और बहुत अटैकिंग बैट्समैन है, ओपन भी कर सकते थे रोहित शर्मा के साथ, क्योंकि अभी ओपनिंग का भी मुंबई इंडियंस का भी सॉर्टेड नहीं है कि कौन ओपन करने वाला है, पहले ईशान किशन कर रहे थे।
हाँ।
और एसआरएच के लिए और पंजाब के लिए दोनों टाइम जब वो खेले दोनों फ्रेंचाइजीज के लिए बहुत अटैकिंग ओपनर रहे हैं। सेंचुरीज भी है शायद उनकी, 2 या 3 सेंचुरीज भी आईपीएल में, और शायद उनका मेरे को ध्यान आ रहा है एक सीजन में 2 सेंचुरी लगातार भी मारी थी उन्होंने। तो यार जॉनी
हाँ, आई थिंक
बेस्टो,
यस।
हाँ, तो जॉनी बेस्टो यार मेरे हिसाब से पिक होने चाहिए थे, क्योंकि यार डेविड वार्नर की भी हमने बात करी, वो रिटायर्ड प्लेयर है। जॉनी बेस्टो इज अ
हाँ।
करंट इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर हु इज प्लेइंग फॉर हिज नेशनल टीम एज वेल। तो यार ये चीज मेरे को देख के लग रहा है कि वो पिक होने चाहिए थे।
ओके, अंडरस्टूड।
And Ritik, one more point as well. It is that he's definitely playing consistent competitive cricket, right? So even in the T10, Abu Dhabi T10 that is ongoing at this point, I think he's really good. He's batting really well. So in that regard, I think any time he should have been a perfect opener. I think he was a huge surprise. And coincidentally, if you see. In 2019, there were three players, the top three of SRH: David Warner, Johnny Bairstow, Kane Williamson. Now, all the three of these batters are going unsold. I think 5 years back, if you have told me this thing, I think definitely you couldn't have believed this fact. But yes, that is the truth at this point in time.
Yes, very rightly pointed out, especially about Mumbai, because the kind of surface that Mumbai has, probably that's the best wicket to bat on for Johnny Bairstow. Slightly quick in nature, that bounce as well, slightly similar to the conditions he has played so far. But moving ahead to the next player, and probably he's my favorite player, Kane Williamson. He was there in GT, didn't got enough chances, and probably the last season as well. If we talk about GT, was not the best. Shubman Gill was just trying out the captaincy. Ashish Nehra was still there, but again there was something missing, and probably that's the reason why Kane Williamson also didn't had enough runs under his name. But now with the mega option coming, injured था, but खेला कुछ matches खेले थे. I think he played few games.
Yes. Yeah, I played few games. Yes.
But more importantly, मेरे ख्याल में, I think in the last 3 or 4 years, he hasn't contributed his best because of his injuries. If we talk about even international cricket or if we say IPL. But yes, this time he was fit. Mega auctions, teams were searching for captain as well. There was RCB as well. And there were a few other teams who were still finding captains. Probably one of the best captains in the circle in the crop. the recent players with that experience as well. He's a WTC winner as well. World Cup finals he has also played. Why Kane Williamson was not chosen? Obviously, he should have been there. That we all agree with. I think we all of us. But according to you two, what was the exact reason why he was not picked? रिदम तेरे से स्टार्ट करते हैं. क्या लगता है रीजन क्या था यार टीम्स के लिए कि केन विलियमसन को नहीं लिया है?
यार केन विलियमसन तो यार मेरा भी यार फेवरेट प्लेयर है. T20 क्रिकेट का थोड़ा यार उनको भी लोग उस नजर से देखते हैं कि वो स्लो खेल रहे हैं या स्लो स्ट्राइक रेट है, लेकिन केन विलियमसन जो एक एंड से पूरा एक एंड संभाल के रखते हैं वो. और जब यार मेरे को अभी भी चैंपियंस लीग ध्यान है कुछ साल पहले की, यार जब उनको मारने का मौका मिलता है ना तो वो मारते भी हैं यार. लोग उनको ऐसा देखते नहीं है कि वो पावर रेटिंग कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उन्होंने वो पावर रेटिंग करी है. एसआरएच के लिए बहुत पावर रेटिंग करी हुई है, अपनी नेशनल टीम के लिए बहुत पावर रेटिंग करी हुई है. और यार फील्डर कितने बढ़िया है वो. मेरे को अभी उनका कैच ध्यान आता है यार, कितने बढ़िया फील्डर है वो यार. वो एबी डिविलियर्स वाला जो उन्होंने बाउंड्री पे पकड़ा था 2016 में पकड़ा था
हाँ,
शायद. कितने बढ़िया फील्डर है यार
2016.
वो. और जो उनके पास कैप्टेंसी की एबिलिटी ना यार, वो कितने साल से अपनी नेशनल टीम को कैप्टन कर रहे हैं. शुभमन गिल बहुत यंग है, लेकिन आप इंडियन प्रीमियर लीग में चाहोगे कि आप एक इंडियन प्लेयर को ही ग्रूम करो, लेकिन अगर आप केवल फ्रेंचाइजी के बेस पे देख रहे हो तो केन विलियमसन से अच्छा किसी भी फ्रेंचाइजी में अगर वो जाते हैं तो एज अ कैप्टन वो जितना कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं शायद और कोई प्लेयर इतना नहीं कर सकता है, क्योंकि अभी करंट इंटरनेशनल कैप्टन है वो अपनी टीम के. तो यार केन विलियमसन नहीं बिकना मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ा एक सेटबैक है यार. इतना बड़ा प्लेयर जो कंसिस्टेंटली खेल रहा है, तो यार थोड़े तो इशू है केन विलियमसन के साथ कि यार टीम्स क्यों नहीं गई उनके पीछे.
Rohit, what's your take on this? Because I think nowadays the teams, especially the decision making, is very strongly dominated by the analyst who is sitting behind the owner. I think we are overly dependent on the numbers regarding the potential of the player. We are judging that on the basis of the runs he has scored in the last year.
Yes, but I think more than looking at the numbers, right? Like it's very important to look at the team combination because I'll tell you
Okay.
even at this point in time, yes, KKR have gone ahead with Venkatesh Iyer, correct? They've gone all guns blazing. They've gone all out for Venkatesh Iyer. But I think
Yeah.
in that batting lineup, right, they have in fact had a backup player as Manish Pandey, and they've gone
Yeah.
for Ajinkya Rahane as well. But in my
Yes.
opinion, right, if you had gone ahead with Kane Williamson at number 3, right, that would have been the perfect team, in my opinion, team combination. Yes, he's a foreigner. Maybe people might argue on that sake. But in my opinion, if you would have gotten Kane Williamson, 4 foreigners, Kane Williamson, Andre Russell, Sunil Narayan, Andrik Narkar, that would have been a perfect combination. And most importantly, you would have had a straightforward captain because we've seen KKR do that. They played Owen Morgan only for the sake of captaincy in 2021 when they reached the final. Yes, his form was also not huge at that point in time. But I think because he's a sheet anchor, obviously we know for a fact that he can stay at one end because KKR are completely filled with stroke makers, very good stroke makers. So in that regard, if there was someone like Kane Williamson that side, that would have been perfect. And LSG as well, I had given that thought, but Aiden Markham was there straight in, so that would have not really made a
Yes.
difference. But I think KKR would have been a perfect fit for Kane Williamson.
Yes. Talking about KKR, just a question in the middle. Venkatesh Iyer is the captain now. Just having your predictions.
Hopefully he should be the captain, or else I think you should go with a foreign option. One of Russell or Narayan might be an option, but yes, Indian option. I don't really see Rinku Singh captaining, or if you want to captain someone like Manish Pandey or Ajinkya Rahane, will they play 14 games?
अजिंक्य रहाणे
Ajinkya
बहुत
Rahane,
एक अच्छा.
perfect. Definitely, very good
But
captain in that place. But he
I
will
think
not
here's
play
the
14
question.
games. That is something.
That's the point. मेरे को लगता नहीं रिदम की 14 मैच वो दोनों खेलेंगे. Manish Pandey is obviously taken as the backup player, and with that impact player as well coming in, it's very difficult for them to make into the 11. But yes, I think that's again the very right point that you pointed out, because in terms of captaincy as well, especially KKR, I think Kane Williamson could have been the perfect fit for them. But nonetheless, okay, interesting. Now I think this player, probably I'm the most surprised by seeing this player in the most in the unsold list. That's Shardul Thakur. I thought he'll go over
Yes.
6-7 crores.
Or
But the kind
yeah,
of he has, he bowls, he bats, decent fielder, obviously experience
commodity.
as well. He has been.
Very rare commodity. Yes.
What's your take? Yeah, what's your take on Shardul Thakur? Rhythm, क्या लगता है? We'll start with Rhythm
यार
and then we'll come to Rohit himself.
मैं इसमें तेरे से डिसएग्री करूंगा, क्योंकि मेरे को नहीं लगता कि शार्दुल ठाकुर T20 में बहुत बड़ा
Mhm.
एसेट है, क्योंकि उसकी बॉलिंग भी मतलब डिसेंट है, बैटिंग भी डिसेंट है. जो दोनों चीजें आप मतलब T20 में आप किसी भी चीज में वो स्पेशलिस्ट नहीं है, ना ही बॉलिंग में ना ही
समझ
बैटिंग में. जो वो काम टेस्ट क्रिकेट में कर सकते हैं नीचे आके, वो शायद वो टी20
हाँ
क्रिकेट में नहीं कर सकते हैं। जो बॉलिंग का
ओके
इम्पैक्ट उनका जो टेस्ट क्रिकेट में वो शायद टी20 में नहीं है, क्योंकि अभी इतने सालों में हम देख रहे हैं आईपीएल, शार्दुल ठाकुर का कोई भी अभी भी ऐसा या बॉलिंग में या बैटिंग में एक ऐसा इम्पैक्ट नहीं रहा है जो मैं पर्सनली मेरे को लगता है कि जो उनको
समझ गया।
यार, मैं बिल्कुल भी सरप्राइज नहीं हूँ कि ये प्लेयर अनसोल्ड है, क्योंकि उनका इतना बड़ा
हम्म
इम्पैक्ट शायद नहीं रहा है जितना बाकी प्लेयर जो हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। मेरा अपना मानना यह है कि शार्दुल ठाकुर अभी टी20 क्रिकेट में किसी भी फ्रेंचाइजीज को अपनी प्लेइंग 11 में जगह केवल किसी भी एक स्पेसिफिकेशन पे बनाते हुए नहीं दिख रहे हैं। तो इसलिए मेरे को लगता है कि मैं इस डिसीजन से बिल्कुल सरप्राइज नहीं हूँ कि शार्दुल ठाकुर अनसोल्ड है।
Understood. I think Rohit, I want to ask the same question with you, but I think just one point to add in that. I think because of the impact player, this has been the case for Shardul Thakur. Impact player की वजह
Uh,
से बहुत बड़ा, yeah, yes
Yeah,
Rohit.
I think definitely impact player also is a role in that. But I'll tell you something. He's an Indian all rounder, right? So Indian bowling all rounder. How many Indian bowling all rounders you can only name a few. I think Hardik Pandya, Vijay Shankar has also gone for just more than base price. So in that regard, I think if you're going to have that Indian pace bowling, you have seen they have retained Nitish Reddy as well. Nitish Kumar Reddy, they have retained him. So
बट
I really thought, many teams would have, I think RCB would have been a perfect fit for Shardul Thakur or even for Chennai Super Kings in that regard. I think they would have maybe, found an interest in getting him back because I think every Indian team, every IPL team would want that Indian all-rounder, who can bowl. Yes, agreed with Rhythm Point as well because he told that, he's, maybe not the best in both the departments, but yes, but at the other end, you're going to pick your team for 3 years, for the next 3 years. So let's say that someone like Glenn Maxwell, for instance, is someone who's going to play for a while. Someone like Andre Russell is going to stay for 3 years. Maybe in the
Yes.
next mega auction, you're not really sure. Someone like Andre Russell, whether he'll be there in your 11. So in that regard, if someone like KKR, someone like Royal Challenge Bangalore, because yes, they have found the likes of Krunal Pandya, they found the likes of Bhuvneshwar Kumar, they've got that Indian coach set this time. But I think Shardul Thakur also in that side would have made more sense to me. I think SRH as well are looking for good Indian quality players. So in the next mega auction, if you would have got him at base price, definitely I think he would have been part of your Indian core. So really surprised. I mean, I really thought he'll go in excess of 7-8 crores. So agreeing to your point. So I'm not really sure. I mean, sometimes these kind of buys happen because we have even seen Chris Gale go unsold in the first couple of rounds, right? In 2018 mega auction.
Yes. हाँ रिदिम, तू कह रहा था कुछ बीच में बैटिंग की लेके कि बैटिंग इतनी अच्छी नहीं है शार्दुल की,
नहीं, मैं ये
क्योंकि
बोल
आई
रहा
थिंक
था
द
कि द प्लेयर्स व्हिच रोहित जस्ट पॉइंटेड आउट, नीतीश रेड्डी, हार्दिक पांड्या एंड एक और बोला था रोहित
आई
ने।
थिंक दीपक चहर
Hardik
इज वेरी
Pandya.
सिमिलर.
हाँ,
Maybe.
he said he
तो
said he said
रोहित,
Indian said
हाँ,
but
तो
मैं
I
बोल रहा
didn't
हूँ
add Deepak
वो
Chahar,
लोग
yes.
तो वो लोग मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि वो लोग पावर हिटर्स हैं, जो शायद अभी शार्दुल ठाकुर का सैंपल साइज काफी बड़ा है, लेकिन अभी शायद मेरे हिसाब से अभी वो उन्होंने बैटिंग में अभी इतना नहीं
प्रूव नहीं
दिखाया है।
किया.
शॉर्टर फॉर्मेट ऑफ द गेम में टेस्ट क्रिकेट में बहुत अच्छे बैट्समैन है, ओडीआई क्रिकेट में भी बहुत अच्छा काम कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अभी टी20 क्रिकेट में शायद अभी उनकी बैटिंग इतनी टेस्टेड नहीं है।
I think मेरे को अभी भी I still remember a game against RCB. He scored शायद a quick 60 he scored on 2021 deliveries.
Yes,
है
yes,
ना
yes.
मेरे, but he has that potential. But as Rhythm rightly pointed out, in the recent past, that consistency with the bat was missing, and especially the last 3 seasons. If we see one season with KKR, one season with Delhi, and the last one with Chennai, all three were below par. He was not in the 11 for all the games as well. So according to his expectation, being an India player, things were dipping down for him. But again, still with
Yeah,
the kind of money people had, and especially in IPL, you need this kind of players. So I was still surprised. Next player.
yeah. And just one
Uh,
more point I just wanted to add. Because if you're going to play in batting wickets, right? Like let's say in Bangalore, Mumbai, or very good Eden Gardens for that matter, if you're going to play on good batting surfaces, I think someone like Shardul Thakur will go for runs, but he will give 10 runs an over, maybe 40 runs in his 4 overs, but he will pick those 3 wickets. Because Tushar Deshpande as well played a similar role for Chennai Super Kings, correct? Yes, he went for a few runs maybe, but he will get you that wickets. I think 3 for 40 in 4 overs. I think you can take it any day on a flat pitch, right? So I think that in that way, Shardul Thakur is very very surprising. Yes.
Okay, bilkul. And I think yes, talking about the Indian player, that's why I pointed out Shardul Thakur. But again, two valid points by both of you. उसके बाद we have next player. there are 3 4 players. I'm deciding what to name first, which to name first. I think we should go with the OG of IPL, Umesh Yadav. Umesh Yadav, new ball bowler, I think could have been utilized by any of the teams. Probably not at the depth. I agree with that. But yes, Rohit, what's the reason? Umesh Yadav, injuries is the concern, or something else?
I think only age factor could be a concern. The only concern I
Yes.
see is the age factor, and there have been many teams who have been tried and tested. I mean, very tired of trying Umesh Yadav again and again, because I think RCB would have been a very good fit for him. Maybe a straight replacement for, or rather backup for Bhuvneshwar Kumar. But we've seen, they've tried and tested Umesh Yadav. They've been tired, so that's why they've not gone for him. Once again, if you see, the likes of LSG have a very good Indian bowling core. CSK maybe could have been an option, but they're not really looking at. They're looking at building a younger side, because you're looking at you are very sure that this is going to be Ruturaj Gaikwad's team. This is not MS Dhoni's team. So I think that was running in my mind when I saw that CSK didn't show even a little bit of interest. I think Mumbai Indians, he would have been a right backup for someone like Jasprit Bumrah. Maybe they are two extremes, yes, but just for a possibility, I'm telling you. So yeah, very surprised as well. Not surprised, but at least at base price, he would have been a good pick. But age factor is the only concern I see in Umesh Yadav.
ओके, एज फैक्टर फ्रॉम रोहित. रिदम, तेरे को क्या लगता है, एज फैक्टर है या फिर कुछ और भी रीजंस है? एक्सपेंसिव रहते हैं थोड़ा, बट आई पर्सनली थिंक एज फैक्टर ही है यार. क्या लगता है तेरे को?
एज कितनी रहती है कभी उनकी?
आई थिंक इज 37, 38,
37 or 38. 37 or 38. I'm not 100% sure about that.
twilight period,
एज
twilight
एज
period of a bowler.
एज फैक्टर एक हो सकता है ऋतिक, लेकिन थोड़ा मेजर इशू यही है एक्सपेंसिव रहने वाला, क्योंकि ही इज नॉट अ प्रॉपर डेथ बॉलर, और या फिर मिडिल ओवर्स में, मतलब ऐसा उनका वो नहीं है कि ये शुरू में ओवर्स में ऋतिक विकेट जरूर लेते, क्योंकि आरसीबी के लिए उन्होंने काफी अच्छा मैचेस जिताए भी हैं अपने दम पे. तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि शायद एक्सपेंसिव जो वो रहते हैं वही एक मेजर रीजन हो सकता है, क्योंकि उनसे भी बड़े बड़े एज के लोग अभी भी आईपीएल खेल रहे हैं. तो वो एक
बिल्कुल.
रीजन.
ओके.
हाँ, तो वो मेरे को नहीं लगता, क्योंकि एज में यार अगर तू देख, रोहित शर्मा भी तो 36 के हैं, तो ऐसा कुछ बहुत मेजर डिफरेंस नहीं है.
रोहित इज
तो
38, रोहित तो 38 साल के हैं, बट आई
रोहित
थिंक रोहित
38
इज
के
अ
हैं,
डिफरेंट
मैं
कैटेगरी.
वो एक बॉलर है
हाँ.
और वो एक बैट्समैन है, मतलब मैं
हाँ.
कंपेयर नहीं कर रहा हूँ. आप एज फैक्टर को हटा दो, तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि केवल एक्सपेंसिव वाला रीजन ही मेरे को लगता है जो कि फ्रेंचाइजी उनके
ओके.
पीछे नहीं गई है.
Yeah,
आई थिंक
because I
रिसेंटली.
think
यस रोहित, कंटिन्यू.
yeah. No. Ishan Sharma as well has been sold for base price. So as a
हाँ,
backup bowler, so I think if you can get Ishan Sharma, I think Umesh Yadav is also a very similar bowler. So yeah, maybe yeah,
Yes, I
very
think
difficult to see the strategy of these teams, right? Sometimes.
in in T20 cricket, I'll pick Umesh Yadav any day over Ishan Sharma. To be honest, that's my
Mm.
game understanding. I'll pick Umesh. But yes, yeah, these two reasons probably are the most important one. That's why he's not sold this time. And probably I think this is the first or the second time that I think this is the first time that he's not there in the IPL. Keeping
Yes.
aside the injury, he was fit, and now I think the next player we'll go with. There are two West Indian players, and first of all, I'll start with Kyle Myers. I think again T20 specialist, had a decent year with Lucknow. The last season, I'm saying. Last year he didn't play because of Quinton. He was there. But what's your take on Kyle Myers? Because he's someone who can bowl as well, who can at least provide you 2 overs, and he can bat anywhere. He's a floater. You can use him as an opener. You can use him as a finisher. What's your take on Kyle Myers? Rhythm से. Yeah,
Okay.
Rohit, continue. रोहित से एक
No.
बार करते हैं
Yeah,
restart.
because so I think that Kyle Mayers is that option. He can give you once again. He can be a very good backup. We've seen him being a backup for Quinton de Kock as well in the Lucknow Super Giants side. But the only reason I see is his bowling is not a major boost. Rather, if you can maybe just give him 2 overs to just push it around, or to just slow down the innings. But in good batting wickets, that can be very very costly. I think if you can, teams will look to get 25 runs out of that 2 overs. You're trying to push at one end. So him being a foreigner, I think that is the biggest reason why he is unsold, because I think even the likes of David Warner, Kyle Myers that we're all talking about are single commodity batters. And I'll tell you something. I was having this fear that even Faf might get unsold in the auction, because that is the only factor that they are single dimension players. So in that regard, to waste a foreign slot for, in today's era, I don't think, teams are looking that at that balance, rather looking for that experience. So I think not a huge surprise to see Kyle Mel, because I was expecting him to get a bit, but Unsold is also not, a very huge surprise for me, to be very honest.
Okay, because he
ऋतिक
was there
हम
at
लोग
1.5 here. Hmm.
हम लोग स्टीव
हाँ,
स्मिथ को
yes.
काउंट क्यों नहीं, स्टीव स्मिथ इस बार ऑक्शन में थे ही नहीं, या फिर स्टीव स्मिथ को
I mean,
काउंट
he
नहीं
was
कर
there.
रहे हैं?
He was there, but he was
Unsold,
not.
unsold, unsold. He was unsold.
अच्छा.
He was unsold. But I think Steve Smith, though, it has happened earlier as well. It has happened in the
हाँ.
last two
Yes.
seasons. So I didn't mention Steve Smith. Again, he's a good T20 player, but he's not even playing in the T20s for Australia. So it's very difficult to play in IPL. क्योंकि ऑस्ट्रेलिया के जो
Yes,
T20
and
player is, yes,
yeah,
Rohit.
he's not there. And more importantly, I think we have discussed this in the previous video as well. The role of sheet anchor is completely gone. I don't know why teams are not looking at it, because if you're suddenly 20 for 3, correct, you need that sheet anchor role to play from one end. We've seen Virat Kohli do that. We've seen Kane Williamson do that. We've seen Steve Smith do that. So
KL
that
Rahul.
role is slowly disappearing. KL Rahul is exactly Aiden
Yes.
Markram. So you can get so many names. So in that sense, I think that is the only reason why players like Steve Smith, Kane Williamson are losing their spot in these IPL teams. And more importantly, I think captaincy option. I mean, that is something that they provide as well. They can, and teams are thinking that they need that, if they are not the captain of their side, right? They are not really useful in the 11. But in my opinion, I'll tell you something. They are a
Hmm.
part of the leadership group, right? So if you
Yes.
if you can
Yes.
consider in Chennai Super Kings, right? I think Ravichandran Ashwin is a valuable buy, because not only because of his off spin, or rather the batting that he's developed in T20 cricket in the recent years, he's gonna be there. He's gonna assist Ruturaj Gaikwad, because let's say that MS Dhoni is gonna play for a while. We know that, but still, yes, we're not really sure for how long he's gonna play. So if in case there is no MS Dhoni on the field, there's going to be a definite mentor for Ruturaj Gaikwad in the form of Ravichandran Ashwin on the field. We've seen Rahane do that in the past for CSK. So, a player being a part of the leadership group is very, very important in that regard. I think Steve Smith, at base price, I think, Punjab Kings would have seen him as an option, but yeah, not really sure. On because of this sheet anchor role not being there, I think that is the biggest part of these playing getting unsold.
आई थिंक एज
Hmm.
ऑडियंस ऑल्सो कि हम लोगों ने इतना प्रेशर डाल दिया कि हम लोगों को भी अब इस तरह के प्लेयर्स इतना पसंद नहीं आते हैं कि यार ये
पसंद.
क्यों इतना स्लोली खेल रहे हैं, क्योंकि अब T20 क्रिकेट T10 भी आ गया है, तो यार अब विराट कोहली ने भी अपना T20 में पूरा गेम चेंज कर लिया है. विराट कोहली पहले यही चीज करते थे जो स्टीव स्मिथ या विलियमसन करते हैं, लेकिन अब पूरा विराट कोहली T20.
So I think the audio video is
Yeah,
gone. He'll be back. He'll be back. Rhythm, आवाज आ रही है? I think video is not visible. Just a second. We'll just wait for him to come back. And
yeah, sure.
yes, I think yes, Kyle Myers again was one player that I was really surprised. But I think more importantly, the next player I'll tell you, he's probably, I think, at this moment one of the best T20 all rounders that we have seen. He's from West Indies again, Akil Hussain. Terrific
Akil Hussain.
numbers, terrific numbers in all the places he has played. Not really dependent on the surface, but again, regarding whatever the surface is, he has played really well. And in all positions, he's someone who can bat as well. He can bowl with the new ball in
Yes,
the power play. We have seen in the
exactly.
recent balls as well that he was opening the bowling. It was effective against batters like Phil
Yeah,
Salt and Butler.
Josh
What's your
Butler.
take on? Because I think personally he would have been played. He could have played in any of the 11. Yes, Rohit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because a team like Mumbai Indians, right? They filled that slot with a better player, maybe in the form of Mitchell Santner. But I thought for a team like Mumbai Indians, or rather for a team like maybe SRH for that matter, they could have definitely had that option, because you mentioned it rightly. He bowls with the new ball, and mind you, he bowls with the new ball even in Australia when he plays for Melbourne Renegades. He opens the bowling,
Yes, yes.
so. In that sense, he can come in at number 7, number 8. He can prove to be a very, very good batter. He can play that cameos. He can play that 10 ball 25. He can, he's very much capable. Even I think he's more than good to be a backup player as well. So yeah, very, very difficult to analyze. I think for a team like maybe Rajasthan Royals, he would have been a perfect backup player, because they are considering to play two foreign spinners in their 11. They are looking to play Hasaranga and Deekshana. I think that's how the team
Yeah.
combination looks like when I had a look at the squad. So in that regard, I think he could have been a very good option backup for Rajasthan Royals as well.
Okay. Yes, thing. I Akil Hussain we have covered. I think the next few players, probably the last few. I think what's your take on Jimmy Neesham? The kind of player he is. I think personally he's very underrated. What Ben Stokes can do, he can as well do, and especially has played in big occasions. He has performed under pressure. I think that's the most important skill, according to me, as an athlete. If you can perform under pressure, irrespective whatever the format is, you can deliver. What's your take on Jimmy Neesham?
Jimmy Neesham, absolutely agree. I mean, there is no, doubts about his skill set. He's been a perfect player, correct? He's been a very good player, but what really bothers me? I think teams are tired. To be very honest, the same factor that we spoke about Umesh Yadav, right? Teams are tired of trying Jimmy Neesham again and again in that slot. Maybe not getting the best performance from him. Yes, he can prove to be a clutch player. That is absolutely agreed. But that moment comes very rarely. So in a tournament like IPL, you can have that one or two standout performances. Yes, but they expect reliability nowadays. So that is something that teams are looking at. Teams are looking at long term thinking, and I think very very underrated. As you mentioned rightly, Jimmy Neesham, he can hit a long ball. Strike rate is close to, he can get to a very good strike rate of close to maybe 140 or 150. So, yeah, not surprised, I would say. But yes, he would
Hmm.
have been a good pick if he would have gone in any of the teams.
Yes, I think I was also expecting that Jimmy Neesham will not be
Yeah,
sold, but again the base price I just noticed, I think is
1.5
1.5.
crores, I guess. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
1.5, not even two. So again, yes,
No, I think he's one of the
yeah,
players, who's been affected due to the impact player rule. Because he's someone who
okay,
comes in at number 6, 2 or 3 overs
yeah,
with the ball, maybe that slow medium pace. So I think he's one of the culprits of the impact player rule, if you could say.
yeah, of course, understood. The next player, I think this again very underrated. Played one season for Punjab, Sikandar Raza. Terrific player,
Yeah, yeah.
can contribute in every department, had enough experience as well now, and especially someone who is adopted well to Indian conditions as well. I think the kind of skills he has, perfect to play that sheet anchor. Again, he's someone who can do everything and can be
Everything.
effective with the ball. But again, I think for Sikandar Raja, that's my personal point of view. I just wanted to ask you as well. Again, being a foreigner is a problem because you can play only four foreigners, or is there anything else as well you can add to?
Uh, I think only for maybe foreigner is another reason, yes. But I think his game is very very suited to Indian conditions. His bowling is very much suited to Indian conditions. He can adapt everywhere. I think he's the KL Rahul of Zimbabwe. Maybe I can put it that way as well. So he's very flexible with the bat. So in that sense, I think it's very surprising to see. I definitely saw him at least going for 4 crores. Maybe my expectations were a little high on him, but yes, we have seen, because he's played a very good knock at Chepauk. Mind you, he was someone who broke that fortress when Punjab won
Yes,
against Chennai Super Kings in Chepauk, I guess, in 2023, if I'm not wrong. In that game, they chased a very high target, right? So in that game, he played a very, very useful knock along with Liam Livingston. So in that sense, yes, could have been a very, very valuable added pick. And I think age factor is something as well teams could think. But why to have that factor? Because he's someone who's going to deliver. Time and again, he's delivering. I think you've seen the likes of Shakib Al Hasan, Sikandar Raza. They fall under the same bracket. Correct.
yes,
From a team being an associate nation, they've traveled with that team for a long time now, and they're able to perform. So in that sense, he's someone who can be a part of the leadership group as well, who's having that
of course.
experience of captaining his country. So yeah, I mean, very confused sometimes. Like when you have that squad set of 25, why not is something that comes in my mind.
So I think sometimes the perception also plays a bigger role because Sikandar Raza doesn't have that perception in international cricket, especially in IPL. But again, I think personally, my most important trait for any player is how mentally strong he is. I think he's probably one of the strongest player in terms of mentality. If we say Sikandar Raza, the kind of mentality he has, and again, he's someone who can bat anywhere from number 1 to number 5. You can make him play in any position, and obviously, as we've already discussed, probably one of the more important reasons is that he could have contributed in leadership as well, could have bowled as well in most of the teams. But yes, I think yes, again, his base price was 1.25, was not very expensive as well.
Yeah, very
So
much.
yes,
For that commodity, it was very much there.
it's 1.25 CR. No one purchased Sikandar Raza. And again, there are few names. We'll probably not have a huge discussion on that. But again, Kyle Jamieson and Devil Bravis and James Anderson. These are 3-4 players. I think we'll stick to James Anderson first. When he announced himself that he is entering into the IPL auction, what was your take? Because I personally thought at 41 or 42, probably a lot of skills is still there. I agree with that. But in mega auction, will any team will be looking to invest for a year or two? At least I think the minimum game plan is to invest for 3 years.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
what's
definitely.
your
And knowing about Chennai Super Kings, I thought, they still haven't announced their bowling coach. So I thought, they could have played him as a player come bowling coach as well. Because, yes, I mean, when you have this discussion with your friends, right, there are people who say that, Jimmy Anderson's white ball numbers aren't so great. But I'll tell you something, to be a coach of an IPL team, you need not have that skill set as a white ball bowler because at this level you're not going to teach them skills, you're going to give them that confidence, you're going to find their talent, you're going to manage, right? So at this level, so in my opinion, he would have been a good pick, but I think this was foreseen. I'm not really surprised, right? Not really surprised, to be very honest.
what about Kyle Jamieson and Devil Brevis? Devil Brevis is still very new. Was
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
get enough chances by Indians. But again, lack of options because in mega auctions you have a lot of players coming in for the same position, and especially I think in these auctions, it really depends on what number you are coming. If he came late,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still can't remember at what position his name was announced, at what number his name was announced. Probably I think by the time his name came into the auction, everyone purchased
Teams
that
were set.
specific player
Yes,
for.
yes, yes. He came around set 14, 13 to 14. That
Okay.
time he came. So, yeah, you rightly pointed out. I mean, him coming in the auction, just the commodity that he plays. I think those are some things that would have been the reasons for him being unsold. But yes, I think in the future as well, he will definitely find a pick. But he has time. I mean, he's highly talented. He has that time. He has that attacking intent. So he'll definitely find a pick in the future. That is what my opinion is. Does he keep wickets? Does Brevis wicket keep?
I
No,
haven't seen him keep wickets, but I think he's older than you or he's younger than you.
me.
Yeah,
Sorry, I think he's
I'm
older. I
asking.
think he's older than me. I think he's older than me.
He's
Yes. Yeah, yeah, older than me.
he's
I think a couple of years older than me. Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, I think he has that time. He will, go up definitely. He will find a pick. But I think Kyle Jamieson, the only reason I see is injury concern. Because we've seen
Kyle
Chennai Super Kings as well, getting him for a season, then unable to replace him at the last moment. So they've had that struggle. So the only reason I see for Kyle Jamieson is injuries, and he's not had that game time in the last couple of years, to be very honest. So that is something that teams will look at as well. So yeah,
Okay, last three players. Sarfaraz Khan to start with, and then we have Shivam Mavi and Navdeep Saini. I personally am surprised by seeing Navdeep Saini not there in any teams. Sarfaraz Khan, I understood. Still, Shivam Mavi and Navdeep Saini are the kind of players which I think any team will like to have there as a
yeah.
second bowler as well as a backup. But what's your take on Navdeep Saini and Shivam Mavi? We'll go to Sarfaraz as well, but I think first these two players.
Yeah, Navdeep Saini, I think definitely. In fact, he's a very rare commodity in Indian cricket because along with Prasidh Krishna, Umran Malik, Mayank Yadav, I think he's someone who can bowl 140 very consistently.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very surprised to see him because he's an Indian commodity as well. He can play for next maybe 6, 7 years as well. He has age on his side. So, I think that also was a factor, but not really sure why teams are not really thinking about Navdeep Saini and Shivam Mavi as well. Mind you, he in the last couple of mega mini auctions, right? He was the highest paid player. I think one of the highest paid players. LSE went for him
Yes.
for around 8.5 crores, if I'm not wrong. So yes, definitely, I think in a team like RCB. I really don't think they have the backup for Bhuvneshwar Kumar at this point in time. I think Shivam Mavi would have been a perfect backup for Bhuvneshwar Kumar. So
I
in that
personally,
sense,
yes.
yeah, yeah,
We've
go ahead,
actually
Ritik.
I was seeing the auction, I was just checking the list that is yet to come. So in that, I saw the name of Navdeep Saini, I saw the name of Shivam Avi. So I was just praying as an RCB fan that at least one of them should go to RCB. But at the last moment, when I saw that these two players remain unsold, again, for me, it's very difficult to digest. Indian player not getting sold. Foreign players, I
Yes.
understand because there's a column of four players. But as an Indian, and that to these kind of players who have that potential, who has played India games as well. And Shivam Avi, I
Exactly.
still first game that he played for KKR, he was bowling against KL Rahul. Terrific spell he bowled. The first two overs with
Yeah.
the new ball. And same goes with Navdeep as well. And the last player,
Navdeep played in
we
Australia.
Navdeep is still in Australia, bro. He's there as a backup bowler, but again, very difficult to understand what's the mindset because I think auction is the only thing that I can't understand. I can't find the
Yes.
logic, especially this time that has happened to me. And yes, last player, I think Sarfaraz Khan will discuss along with him. That's Prithvi Shaw. All these players that we have talked in the recent past, these four players, Sarfaraz, Shivam, Navdeep, and Prithvi. All these players had a base price of 75 lakhs, not even a crore. So that again
Mhm.
shows you the expectations as well. They were themselves underconfident regarding their purchase.
Yes, correct. But I think out of 10 teams, one team, I think you are absolutely pointed it out, right? So you need that Indian backup, at least as a backup, you need. And all these four players that we are talking about are definitely very good to feature in the 11. In the first 11 of any
Yes.
IPL team, I think they are perfect to feature. Correct. So in that sense, yes, Prithvi Shaw, I think is getting very, very maybe he's in a very his confidence is very low, underconfidence stage of his career. But yes, if you can, back him, correct, you can give him, let's say that, go inside the first 6 overs. You know what Jake Fraser McGurk is doing. I mean, what is your game? Your game is that, I mean, that has given you confidence over the last few years. So why not go in and just go bang bang? So I think that would have been an option. If you can see Devdutt Padikkal getting sold, RCB getting him back, I think Prithvi Shaw was an option definitely. Sarfaraz Khan, once again, not really sure about his power game because when he debuted, actually, he played as a finisher, but now with his Test cricket side getting better his game, I think he's one option that they can definitely try for the future, groom for the future. Someone like Sarfaraz Khan, he's just 26, I think, if I'm not wrong. So in that sense, I
Yes.
think he will definitely fit any IPL side. So yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, the auction dynamics are something you rightly pointed out. It's very, very difficult to understand. It's
Yes, I
like Greek
think
and
we are
Latin
talking.
sometimes.
Of course, and I think especially about Prithvi Shaw, I think you were there with me in Pondi when I was having this conversation, and we were having this conversation with Parth Vagani, the Gujarat bowler, the
Yes.
left arm quick.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Actually, he was discussing this with me, and he was mentioning that when he was in Delhi Capital as a net bowler, he was
Hmm.
bowling to everyone. He has Virat as well. He is telling me he's like even in Virat's gameplay, you can find somewhere to hide. If you bowl there, he'll not hit you for boundaries. He was telling me that when he was bowling to Prithvi Shaw, he was so technically sound that he was a complete player. That's what he was trying to put. And
Hmm.
he was on his day he can win you games one sided. But I think because of many things that are happening outside cricket, probably have,
Exactly,
have been
exactly.
he's not purchased. And I think some of it is perception and some of it is real. But the perception of that negative playboy image has taken over everything now. I don't think it's completely true, to be honest, but I think that's the reason why that perception has played a bigger role, him not being sold in this IPL. So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I
And
think this.
people talking about his fitness, I think that is something that for a player like Prithvi Shaw, like tell me, like was Virender Sehwag 100% fit? I mean, this might rise up controversy, correct? But but I'll tell you this thing: Virender Sehwag, for
Yes.
his game, for his caliber, wasn't the fittest of cricketers, to be very honest. But he did his job on that day, correct? On his day, he could definitely destroy your team. So I think a similar player is Prithvi Shaw. If you can give him that cushion, if you can give him that confidence, if you can back him, he can give you a 20 ball 50, and he's going to win you the game in the power play. Absolutely. So yeah, very difficult to understand.
I think yes, because now people are getting too critical of most of the players. Prithvi Shaw is obviously one of them. But yes, I think this was the list. We probably covered most of the players,
Mayank
as you
Agarwal.
mentioned. Steve. Mayank Agarwal, yes. You pointed it out. I have pointed him, but I skipped the player. Okay, last
Okay.
last two players, Mayank Agarwal and Naveen Ulak. We'll start with Mayank because again,
Oh, Naveen Ulak is
along
unsold.
yeah, Naveen Ulak is also unsold. Yes,
Sure.
yes. I was just making the list, so I marked few key players. These two players were among that. Mayank Agarwal and Naveen Ulak. Starting with Mayank, obviously. He was, I think, the second highest run scorer in the last Ranji cycle. Scored over 800
Yes.
runs.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yes, yes.
again, I think he's played well. He's played well for Punjab. He didn't played enough
He's
matches
captain
for
Punjab.
SRH. He's captain Punjab again. That's again a big factor that I think most of the people have forgotten about. What's it about Mayank Agarwal? People are looking him as a second player with Ajinkya Rane still being sold to KKR, but not Mayank Agarwal. That's again a big question for me as well.
No, I think Ajinkya Rahane, right? So the only factor that teams have taken him is that they've not put him in maybe in this barrier, or rather in the same bracket as Mayank Agarwal is because that one season he played for the Chennai Super Kings. I mean, the way he showed that he can also hit a long ball, correct? So he showed his power game as well. So I think that is the only factor on why maybe teams are relying, maybe Dwayne Bravo being there at KKR. I think that would have also played a factor as well, in my opinion. So yeah, Mayank Agarwal, I think he's a first learn player. Come on, I think you tell me, can't you play him in a first IPL 11? Maybe I might sound very critical here, but I think,
I'll agree.
yeah, yeah.
I'll agree.
If you can't play Mayank Agarwal in the first IPL 11, I don't really see Mayank Agarwal not playing because he can once again, he's a more than a decent fielder. Correct. He has captain IPL side obviously. So even that leadership point of view is going to help you. Or you can even play him as an impact player, in my opinion. So I think yeah, not really. And I don't have much answers for this question to be honest. Very surprised.
Yes, I think these are the only reasons why I said that very difficult to understand what are the dynamics of IPL.
Yes,
Last year, Naveen Ulak again surprising had a good IPL season last year with LSG. Played well even in the franchise cricket that he's playing all around the world. He's played more than decent, I'll say. But
definitely
again,
yes.
difficult to very different kind of bowler. Teams would have liked a bowler like Naveen Ulak.
Yes,
What's your call on Naveen?
and yeah, yeah, definitely. I think a team like Lucknow would have bought him back because he suited that surface really well, correct? And
Yeah,
in a good surface, even like Wankhede or even a good surface like Bangalore, I think he would have suited. If let's say if Punjab are going to play in Mulanpur, I think he's going to suit that wicket as well. He would have been a perfect replacement for Harshal Patel, in my opinion. Yes, he is a foreigner, obviously, yes, but if he's going to pick you that
but
wickets in the death overs, why not? You can have him as a foreign option as well.
of course, yes, very rightly pointed out. Very similar to Harshal as well. Harshal is now, I think, in SRH now.
SRH,
So,
yes.
but I think yes, Naveen Ulak as well could have been one player that obviously would have fitted in most of the 11s. Okay, I think now I've covered almost every player. Uh, yes, we have covered almost every player, every key player. That was a surprise for me. And okay, last final question, Rohit. Who among these player will be there in the IPL as a replacement? Because I think someone or the other will get injured, and one of these
Yeah.
players will get chance. According to you, who will be that person? Any two players?
Uh, okay, it's really difficult actually. I think who are all we've discussed? We've discussed David Warner. We discussed Kyle Mayers. We've discussed about uh,
Shardul is there. We
Shardul
have
is there, correct?
Johnny Bairstow is there. We have Sikandar Raza, Umesh Yadav, Kyle Myers, Akil Hussain, obviously Navdeep Saini, Prithvi Shaw, Sarfaraz Khan. I think more importantly, Indian players will probably get an edge here. I personally think that. But what's
Yeah,
your take?
definitely. I think one of Shardul is going to definitely be there in my opinion because he's an Indian all-rounder. So Shardul will be there. One of Naveen ul Haq or Mayank Agarwal is also gonna maybe Naveen ul Haq will get a nod ahead in my opinion because
Okay,
he's
I think I
performed well for LSG.
100% yes. Naveen played brilliantly for LSG. I personally think yes, Shardul and obviously Mayank as well. I think will be the two players. I think will get a chance if any Indian player gets injured or even if any foreigner gets injured. But yes, Naveen Ulak again is probably a close call. I personally think Navdeep as well. Navdeep Saini.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
depends. It depends on his performances just before the IPL as well. But yes, I think these are the few players that can still make into the IPL of 2025. But yes, I think that's it. A long video. It's almost been
Yeah.
15 minutes. But again, I had a wonderful time. Quality discussion. I really loved your analysis on the teams as well regarding the surfaces. But again, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
sparing so much time. And again, wonderful. Loved it. We'll probably do that again as well. We'll be in touch regarding the BGT as well. I'll let you know
Yeah,
when we
sure.
can work out regarding the live. But yes,
Yeah, I
thank you
mean,
everyone.
we're having very, very healthy conversations, right? So, I mean, it's very, you don't feel like you're in front of camera sometimes. So, if the conversations are so healthy, I mean, yeah, you feel like you're talking to a friend, right? So, you generally, talk to your school friends, college, anywhere you meet friends, you talk, right? So, it's in a similar fashion done through a different medium, right? So, I think, yeah, very loving it. We'll definitely look to collaborate often as well. Uh,
Yes,
Sure, definitely.
lovely. So thank you everyone for joining. That was our discussion on the unsold player list of IPL 2025. The BGT is still there. Four tests are remaining. We'll probably try to come live a few times for that as well. For the time being, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe the channel. And I've also dropped the link of both the channels that Rohit has, the Tamil one and the English one, in the description. Please check out the channel as well. And for the time being, thank you for watching and stay tuned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.